Hey guys, for this week's video I thought I'd just do a quick tour around the farm and show you what's been happening. This is our last batch of broilers and I just spooked them a little there. They ran into the corner, but there's 100 in this batch. This is going to be our last batch. They will be for processing in mid-September. They're only, I think they're 3 days old, so they're on a limited feed at the moment, and tomorrow they change onto their feed plan. But they're doing really well, and the brooder in the polytunnel, it worked pretty well for me. I mean, I have plans next year to have a better system than this. It's not ideal in real warm weather. Yeah, you got to really monitor it, but it's got me out of a hole this year. So if you're stuck, it works, but I'm hoping to have a better, more permanent solution for next year. I also have these guys. The ducks are growing like crazy. Look at how big they've got. I'm going to have to get them into a bigger box soon and get them ready to get outside. I need to organise that for them, but they're doing really well and they're happy. They're a little bit skittish. I try to spend a bit of time with them to get them used to people, but they're happy. They've got their heat lamp there and their feed, and they've got their little pond, and they're happy out. Cucumbers are starting to really yield. You can see these guys here, they're coming in beautiful. We've got a whole row of them and they're starting to yield. The tomatoes behind them aren't too far away. You can see the fruit forming there. So I'd say in another maybe 2-3 weeks we'll have some tomatoes. Our beans here are starting to, you can see we get some of our beans are coming in. And we've got, these are melons. I need to tidy them up a little bit. They're sending runners out everywhere. Our courgettes are starting to come. Kind of lovely courgettes. You can see more cucumbers there. We've got some lettuces in, mainly red oak leaf. You can see I've got one row of green and 3 rows of red oak leaf, and I've got these have just been transplanted into this bed. In the garden out here we haven't done that much. We've put in 2 rows of beets, some onions, there's some kales, some Brussels sprouts and broccolis, and didn't get as much done here this year as we'd planned, but at least we've got the beds in. My plan now, hopefully I get a bit of time in the next coming weeks, I'm going to put more beds in back here, and we're going to put maybe like a herb garden down there, and we'll get that all sorted. Down here we've got Eggmobile 2, and there's 4 rotations in this front paddock, so I've just moved these this morning. They're doing really well and really happy with the system here. This is our newest Eggmobile. I probably will, it's on a single axle, I probably will put another axle on there. It just makes it easier for moving with the winch. That's about the only modification I'm going to make to that one, I think, in the winter time. But these gears lay rate are up. I can't remember off the top of my head I normally check it together. They're like 92 or 93% lay rate, and birds are just settled in so well. You can see here we've got some rushes. I have grazed this with the sheep, and hopefully now the birds will tramp that down. Some of those bigger clumps I might have to come in with a strimmer and just whack them down a little bit if the animals can't impact them, but there's very few. This is probably one of the worst patches on the farm, because you can see here behind me how the hens just leave it flat. Now we actually stayed an extra day on this paddock. We normally stay 2 days. This was a 3-day we stayed. I had chickens processed this week, so I was busy, but again, we can use that as a tool. If we really need to impact somewhere, we just stay on it a little bit longer, and we can really toss down all that organic matter and let the hens do the work for us. If we walk over here to this is one of our well-established tree lanes, so these are big firs, and it really helps protect the farm. And hopefully we've got some Scots pine in the back here, so this is our willow belt. So this is purple willow, and again these are taking off. There's 18 inches of new growth there. And then we've got, this is almond leaf willow, and in the back then we've got some common willow. and I think I've maybe got 2 willows that didn't take out of 1,000 or more, and it's over without, it's like 1,500 willows. And here we've got this is a Scots pine, and he's really going for it. And we've got a full row of them all the way up here, and then our alders are in the background here. Here we've actually got a thistle. So I've a small amount of thistles on the farm, and I come along and dig them out. Now this one got away from me because I'm normally out in the tree lanes looking for them. So I mean, you can knock him down like that there, but he'll come back again. You gotta dig out a bit of the root to get him out. So typically on a Sunday morning, I normally walk around for half an hour with a spade and just pull out any thistles I can find. I'm pretty lucky, I don't have that many thistles. Here we've got our alder, are doing really well. I'm really happy with them. Our alder probably didn't take as good as some of the rest. I'd say about 90% of the alder took, but I planted in a load extra and I just healed them in, and I'll pull them out probably in the springtime and replace any that didn't make it. And then this is an older established, it's basically, it was on was a divide between 2 paddocks, and I don't know the full history, but it might have been between 2 farms at one point. And there's a lot of ash and beech, and it's a bit of a mix of everything. And it's a nice windbreak for the backfield. So on the other side of this, it's quite difficult to see, but that's our other eggmobile there, and that's where we've got all our fruit trees in that field. So you can see here that was a swarm box that I think I caught a swarm in. It was only a cast swarm, but there's some difficult to see the bees coming and going, but hopefully they don't. These guys are, I'll leave them there. I need to pick them up and put them in the apiary, but I can't move them to the apiary here in the farm because it's not far enough away, or it's not close enough. With bees, you can only really move them either 3 foot or 3 miles, otherwise they get confused. They're orientated to their old flight patterns. So I've got 2 apiaries that are about 15 miles apart, so I need to take them off to the other apiary and get them orientated out of that spot. And because it's just messy you'd end up with beehives all over the farm if you just said, oh, I'm going to leave them there. And we walk into this is our grain store, the Gobbledygo. I'm just using it as storage at the minute, but I've got turkeys coming in 2 weeks, so I need to get that there out into the paddock and get set up. And this is our main field where we do most of our rotation. You can see I've just taken a batch of broilers off. So we had a batch of broilers that come up right to here. They went off 2 days ago, and then the next batch that's due for processing in 2 weeks are out there. You can see the sheep are grazing beside them, and this is the last batch to come out of the brooder, and these guys are doing really well. These are plum trees. I was a bit nervous about getting plum trees. I didn't know that much about them, but man, are they doing really well. You can see them all along this row. They're really doing well. The pears are probably the trees that haven't adapted as well. Most of the apples are doing well. Difficult to make out, I'm not going to walk down, but these are all apples all along here. But really surprised how much the pears are really enjoying the environment here. So that might be one that I'll have to do more of. These guys have just gone, there's 3.5 weeks. There's 150 in this batch. We're doing 2 salt and style pens, 75 in each. Mortality rate's been pretty low in these, 2%. And the birds I've processed last week, the average weight was 2.1 kilos dressed, so just spot on, perfect where I wanted them to be. And this is eggmobile 2 out here. These guys are, again, they're in the same lay rate as this is eggmobile 1, but they're in the same lay rate as eggmobile 2, and they weren't moved this morning, so they're due for move tomorrow morning. And this is a double tree lane I have to come along this winter. You can see I've got markers in. There's a white post there and a white post here, and then There's another one over there, so I need to put a tree lane in here this winter. So they're actually moving along a double tree lane at the minute. It's 18 meters wide, or sorry, 28 meters wide, and these guys are about half of them will have laid at this point. It's now 8 o'clock, so about half of them will have laid. The other half will go in. I normally collect eggs about 9. I'll go collect eggs after this, and then again at 3, and they'll get fed at the 3 o'clock one as well. You can see the impact these guys are having. They're just really thrashing down that organic matter. So like we were here, this is already starting to bounce back. This is the paddock we were in 2 days ago, and grasses are starting to bounce back. We'll go up here and have a look at what the sheep are grazing. We'll maybe take a look. The sheep were grazing on the other side of this fence, and they just got moved this morning. We'll take a look at the grass there, and then we'll go up and look at what the sheep are on at the moment. And you can see in this lane here, broilers have been through here, and you can definitely see the difference in the green. Like you can see this dark green here, whereas the broilers weren't on here. It's a much lighter colour of green, and the sheep just love the grass. You know, 2 months after the broilers been on it, the sheep love it. So this is the paddock the sheep were in 2 days ago, and then this paddock up here we were in yesterday. We took a good bit off this paddock. We've got 18 lambs now grazing it. They're 25-30 kilo lambs, but we're still only, if we look here, we're still only grazing the top half off the plant. If I was to pop out one of these guys, you know, we're still only pulling off half the plant, and there's still a lot of cover. The sheep have trampled a lot of grasses as well. So we'll come along with the hens, we'll flatten all this down, let the hens beat it up a little, and let the new growth come. But this is an apple. He's a 2-year-old. You can see still some flowers on there. So it's their first year going in the ground, so it'll take them a year to kind of get settled in. And this is a pair that got nailed by a frost. He's not going to make it. I don't think he'll put anything on next year. But right, he's got a friend there too that didn't make it, so there might be something wrong with this area. The field might be more prone to frost than the rest, so I'll have to look at that. These guys are due for processing in 2 weeks. Just got moved and fed earlier this morning. They're just chilling, and again these are performing as well. My birds have been very consistent in their batches and performance, which I'm really happy with. There's 70 in that pen, 30 in this pen. Everybody's happy out, moving on to grass all the time. Here we've got our lambs, so I got 11 more lambs, so I've good mowing power now. These are all Texel Suffolk Cross lambs and doing pretty well. You can see that guy there with the blue shoulder, like that. He's 42 kilos, that lamb, or even closer to 45 now, I'd say, since I weighed him. So we're going to take these lambs. We'll probably start in September. We sell our lambs in 3 boxes. We do large, regular and small. Large being a whole lamb, regular being a half lamb, small being a quarter. But they're on good forage here. And again, I think I've talked about this before, but for our sheep we use this. This is Floss 1.2 meter netting. We use 250 meter nets, and it's just so handy. I wouldn't use anything else, to be honest. There's 17 lambs there. I'd say I'd use that up to about 50 sheep. It's just so fast. Went over 50 sheep, then probably it'd be easier to have some permanent fencing in places and then use cross wires, but it takes me no time at all to move that fencing in the morning. I'd happily move 4 of them in the morning in 20 minutes probably, no issue. And then I just use solar powered energizer, and the lambs have never bothered it. And I just got those new lambs about a week ago, and they weren't electric fence trained, and they never even put their nose through it. So really happy with them. We got a mix of ewes and rams in there. I think there's 8 rams, and the rest are all ewes. And we'll castrate those males. We'll do that soon, and then it just make sure the meat's nice and tender when it comes to harvest. We'll move along down here. Okay, the last thing then on the farm is our bees. These are brambles here. Again, they're 1-year-old maidens, but they're doing well. And you can see they're putting on a lot of new growth. This is actually a box of bees are hanging out here too. I'll not bother them too much. And again, that's our sheep water there. This is the apiary here for the farm here. I do want to, I didn't get much chance. You have to remember, we've been on this farm less than a year. We've been here about 10 months. I want to move into this wooded area back here. I'm going to clear away in there, and there is actually a clearing in behind that, and I'm going to set up my apiary in there, but I didn't have time, so I've set them up here in the meantime. We've got, these are nuke boxes here. That was a swarm that I caught last week. This hive's in production, this one's soon be in production. I had to do a split on it, so it'll hopefully come into production now, but beekeeping's going well. That's just a little tour of the farm, and things have been going really well so far. Sales are going good and everything's coming together nicely on the farm. We're going to be having an open day on the August bank holiday weekend on the Sunday, so if there's anybody nearby and would like to come and check out the farm, definitely come by. Just let us know if you're coming, because we're trying to plan logistics and with the COVID and everything, so we just want to get a kind of a ballpark figure on how many people we're going to be managing, and we'd love to have you here.